Welcome to Cod Gaming. In today's video I wanted to focus on London Docks Team Deathmatch in Call of Duty World War II. This is the third video I've made in the series, so it should be very similar to the previous two that I did on Gibraltar and Flak Tower, but this one actually has a third supplemental area to spawn. So if you and your teammates are kind of blocking these spawn areas, they will spawn over by the water side, as you can see in the picture. Again, this particular video is demonstrated with bots, so you can really just see how the control and understanding of the spawns work, and how this coincides with the spawn guide I put out probably within the first week of the game coming out. So what you really want to do is focus on how your movement impacts where these spawns will happen. You can see the dotted green lines, again with those, if you push beyond those lines, you're going to kind of do something funky with the spawns. Especially on the bottom right side, you're almost going to force them to spawn by the water side. So a lot of times you can kind of rove back and forth depending on where you're positioned at. But if you're over in the middle, a lot of times if you control the spawns, you can really get a high potential to get shot in the back, just because they'll spawn right off the water and be able to take you out. Based off my personal preference, I like this side of the map a little bit better. You can see that the spawns already flipped because that teammate went a little too far. But with bots, obviously, they don't know better. They just run past those green lines and they have no clue. So now most of the enemies are going to be spawning in that corner section. Some have already kind of pushed around navigating the map. But most of them, for the most part, are going to be spawning in this bottom right corner. So as long as I don't push too far beyond this line, I should be able to keep them trapped in this area. But since I prefer the other side, I'm forcing a spawn flip. So I'm waiting until probably a teammate spawns here. They're spawning water side. So ideally, I want to keep them on that side because having two different points is a little bit more hectic to control. But you can see right here, now they're kind of still haven't spawned just because no one's killing them. But we'll kind of take another look. Oh, there's another guy. He just spawned right out of there. That one's actually a pretty tough spawn to flip until you actually see the teammate spawn out of there. It is a pretty crazy spawn zone. It's pretty heavily weighted that it'll spawn there a majority of the times. Just where I spawned to, you can see that's the primary spawn on the opposite side. And now again, as soon as they're coming off spawn, I'm pushing all the way back to this side. As long as the teammates hold this line, ideally it's the best way to do it because then you don't have to run as far to get all the opponents and they're all coming out of this area. You can see they pretty much all spawned in this area and I'm just kind of killing them all, and then they'll continue to spawn probably by the water if I had to guess. And this guy just ran through the building, but as soon as I kill him, they should be all spawning pretty much by the water. Teammate just spawned here. You can see they're spawning. So now I know the map is kind of flipping around, and now they're coming out of the opposing spawn where the top right. So pretty much I'm going to go back that way since that's a little bit better control, and then just kind of corral them right off the spawn. So a lot of times when people are running off spawn, they're not really prepared, or they're instantly preparing to throw their grenade. So a lot of times they're not in the best position to have a gunfight. So right here, they're probably spawning by that truck. You can see where they're popping up on the mini-map. So I take them out, and then I just kind of hold down this area. Try and go ahead and check out this left side so I can make sure they're spawning in that back area. It doesn't look like anyone's by this truck, so they'll continue to push out this way. As long as I stay kind of back here and rove back and forth, they should continue to spawn right out of this back corner. A lot of times people, they just kind of continue to run even though they have that underground passage to run through. It looks like some spawned by water, so it's just really about navigating the map. I mean, there's only so limited spaces that they can spawn, so if you do see that little marker pop up on the UAV or on the mini map, you'll have a good idea of actually where they're at and have a good idea of how long it should take them to navigate around the map to actually get back to where you're at. So as long as you pretty much hold that line, they got to run out of cover. There's really no cover coming from this spawn. So you could position yourself in a good way this way. It's just a little bit more unpredictable because they can spawn in that corner warehouse or by the water. So you continually see the pattern kind of flip based off where the teammates are. And you just continue that pattern until the map's all done. So again, they're back in that area since a lot of my teammates in that spawn zone that I'm in. So I'm going to go ahead and clear this little harbor water building and then just pretty much cross over to the other side. And then that's kind of the rotation you continue to do throughout the map. A lot of times it can be a little bit more hectic because people are running mountain or whatever the case is. But if you have a UAV or a recon plane up rather quickly and you have a good idea where your teammates are, it really just almost narrows down exactly where your opponents are going to be. What I like about the spawns on this specific map is that it's a lot harder to get spawn trapped, because when you're coming out of that building, you can actually go underneath, so you got a little bit of cover that way. Or it'll spawn you out by the water if your enemy pushes too hard into your spawn, which often happens with random people. They have no clue, they just run around random, cross over the spawns, flip it, and really take people out of advantageous positions just because they, I don't know, they're trying to get the kills before everybody else. So right here, they should be spawning in this back corner still, and then probably water side depending on how hard my team pushes. But nope, look, pops back up. They're actually back in the main spawn on this opposite side. So pretty much it just continues to rotate, and you kind of get used to the pattern and the habit. You can see that teammates in that little dock house or that building on the right. So that's really going to block that spawn. So they should be coming out by this truck or by the water unless the spawns flip again. So over here by the truck, this guy's just standing here. I take him out. You just continue this process over and over. Now they're back in that back corner. So I would recommend doing the same thing what I'm doing with the actual map. If you know you're in a good place to cover, already set it up by default at the start of the match so that overview of the map is already present. So when the UAV passes, you can get a good glance at the entire map versus just getting this little mini map that doesn't really show much. It's like 30% smaller than it's been in previous games. So just for accounting for that, this allows you to get a good snapshot of where all your enemies are, where your teammates are. Even if people are running mountain, it does give you a pretty good indication of specifically of where people are at. And that's going to be it for the video. If you did enjoy it anyway, remember to click that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to follow me on Twitter if you'd like to stay up to date with future content. Also make sure to have those notifications on so you don't miss a video, and you can comment and share the videos if you do enjoy them. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.